consideration of consent agenda items, and the board has seen those prior to that. Does anybody have any questions or comments? No? And I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Rick, thank you. Janet, second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. That's carried, and those have been approved. Mr. Sloat, we are to you for the staff report.
Okay, we did
We
not
don't have
have one
one?
after all. No
I'm
staff
sorry,
report.
that's right. I'm sorry, I didn't X off mine. You don't get to talk as much tonight, then,
No,
do
I
you?
guess not.
Well, not quite as much as you would have, so. All right, down to new business then. You are talking about, though, adopting the budgets.
Right. Okay, on our budgets, if you recall, we had reviewed all the various funds and budgets in July. We advertised them in August 2 times. They're in the newspaper. We held the public hearing on the budgets at our August meeting. Now, this kind of concludes our budget action for 2008 tonight. We need to ask that you would adopt the budgets. Won't go over detail because you had them, but they total $21,998,221. So we need to approve the budgets. We need to approve the 3-year capital projects plan, which has been advertised, and approve the bus replacement plan. And then along with those approvals, we need to add the resolutions. There are 4 resolutions I'd ask you to adopt. One is a tax neutrality resolution, and what that is, if you recall our pension bonds, we have to offset another fund, reduce the rates in another fund to account for the pension bonds that we do every year. But the DLGF requires a resolution on that, and it says we'll reduce the bus replacement fund. We have a resolution that says you approve the bus replacement plan, and also a resolution for the CPF plan. And we have another resolution that we call authorization to reduce. And what that involves is when Dr. Sager and I would meet with the state to go over our budget if we find that we have to make, because we advertise high in our funds, if we have to make any reductions, and either we call it line 1, which is the basic budget amount, or there's a line 2, which is remaining expenditures from last year for 2007. You know, rather than come back to the board, I mean, we keep you informed, but they always ask for a resolution to see that we have authority to make reductions. So that's what we try to remind you. We advertise high, we can make reductions to make the results, come out where we feel, the board wants them to be. And so that would be our 4th resolution to adopt. And assuming you approve all that, which you could do in one motion, the budgets, the CPF, bus replacement plan, and the resolutions, then Robin, at the end of the meeting, will have quite a few budget forms for you to sign. Then what I do in the next 2 days, I deliver those forms downtown to the auditor's office. And who knows now when they'll work that budget. Like this year, it was like March or April before they even started on it. So even though it's 2008, they won't have it done probably before 2008.
Does anybody
So,
have
any questions?
any questions? Mr. Sloat?
I move we adopt the budgets and all resolutions attached to as presented.
Second?
Give it to Tim.
Give it to Tim,
He hasn't
okay.
had one yet.
You've already had one, right? All right, Tim, thank you very much, and all those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Great, thanks.
Okay.
Carrie, you have the authority.
Thank you.
Dr. Sager.
Thank you. Tonight's a little unusual in the course of events that we would adopt the budget, which is the document that we all work with the largest numbers in it. And the piece within the budget that also contains the largest numbers is the agreement with the Teachers Association. And tonight, I'm here to report that we have reached a tentative agreement with our Teachers Association. And in your packet of material is some overview information of that tentative agreement that I'd like to summarize. The basics of the agreement, and then of course if you have any questions about any specifics above that, just ask and I'll try to answer. It's a 2-year tentative agreement with a base salary increase the first year of 2% and the second year 2.5%. Like percentage increases for our coaching and and co-curricular salaries. A co-curricular salary would be like a department chair stipend. Within our contract, we have currently a 2% matching annuity for teachers, and this agreement would increase that by 0.5% to a grand total of 2.5% for the matching 403B annuity. We currently have a 401A retirement annuity at 0.75%. The agreement would increase that by 1/4% to a total of 1%, and the accounts would be moved from MetLife to Valley. In the current contract, we have a VIBA, which is an annuity-like product that is only for health care in retirement, and it currently is at 0.75%, and the agreement would increase that by 1/4% to a total of 1% total, and also move that account from MetLife to Valley. By the way, we currently do our matching annuity 403B work with Valley, and we wanted to put all three of those retirement accounts with one company so that there's one point of service for our teachers, which make, in my opinion, in our opinion, better service to the teachers in terms of knowing who to contact with questions. A couple of other of the major items of the agreement would be a health insurance increase in the second year of the tentative agreement. That would be the equivalent of approximately 1% on the for the total agreement, which would begin in July of 2008. So, it started in July of 2008. And the same dates for the dental insurance increase of an amount that would equal approximately $2,000 that would take effect in July of 2008. Any of the other, there were 18 total items that we reached some type of an agreement on. I highlighted the most important ones, but I will be happy to answer questions on the rest. You've had time to look it over. Do you have any questions about the agreement? Our association president, Chad Mann, is here, who also would like to make a comment or two before I would recommend ratification. Mr. Mann?
Well, I wanted to definitely come this evening and say thank you very much to Dr. Sager and Mr. Sloat for how they handled negotiations. It was a difficult round this time. As we sat here 2 years ago, we talked about the changes that our corporation is going to be looking at. We talked about the fiscal difficulties that we are currently having with the state funding, and we're very conscious of that. And so as I come to you and I say thank you very much for the settlement that we reached, I wanted to just give you a little bit of background and let you know that as we started this year, we actually had teachers' paychecks go backwards due to the health insurance increase. So I really want to thank you for Dr. Sager and Mr. Sloat allowing them to come up with the settlement that we have, which is going to at least help us stop some of that bleeding short term. And we understand that if the state doesn't change their funding formula, if they don't pick up and really funds public education the way they should, that this is going to be an ongoing problem. But the CTA definitely understands that this is a very difficult time for our corporation, and we want to say thank you for everything that you've given us this round.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mann, I'd just like to say that, number one, speaking for the board, that we respect you so much and your leadership as you worked with Mr. Sloat and Dr. Sager. And I'm glad that you understand and the teachers understand our restrictions, and we hate that as much as you do, because that we think that all of you and your colleagues, are wonderful and excellent teachers to our children here in Beech Grove. And so we thank you for that, and we thank you for the leadership that you've exhibited.
Thank you. And it's, you know, and as I've dealt with conversation from people outside of the community, in the community, other teachers from around Marion County, because I meet with all the local presidents, there's no doubt that we have the best corporation to work in. And as other presidents and other CTA members from other corporations come to my school, especially the middle school, They love our hallways, they love the way our kids act, and I just want to make sure that we stay, I guess, enticing to that new teacher coming out, that Beech Grove is their first choice to teach, rather than go to a Perry or Decatur or someplace that I personally feel doesn't have the education that we offer here. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mann. With that, again, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Otherwise, I'd recommend ratification of this two-year agreement.
Gotcha, ma'am. Second?
I'll second.
Janice? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. It's been ratified. Thank you very much to everyone concerned.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, and Dr. Sager, you have the next 2 points also.
Yeah, typically, in conjunction with a ratification of a teacher contract agreement, a similar approach is taken with the rest of the personnel in the school corporation. For the administrative staff who are on a contract that runs July 1 through June 30th, we're recommending the same 2% base salary increase in 2007, 2008, and the 2.5% base salary increase for 2008, 2009. And also the administrative addendums that I spoke of last month with some revisions in language, not revisions in benefits. And then for our classified staff whose salary year runs calendar year, for 2008, a 2% base salary increase, and for 2009, a 2.5% base salary increase. So happy to answer any questions about that recommendation, but I would make that recommendation tonight as well. And if it is approved, then we're set for budgetary planning. I'll know what the salaries are going to be as we look at this 2008 and particularly 2009 difficult time.
Any questions for Dr. Sager? I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve consideration of salary increases as said.
Great. Rick, second?
Second.
Thank you, Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Thank you. That has been approved, Dr. Sager. Yes, please.
Okay. At our last meeting, I sought some guidance from the board on whether or not you wanted to change the way we administered requests for out-of-state or overnight field trips, and was given some new direction. And because that direction does change the essence of our current field trips policy, I recommend that we revise our field trips policy, which is E-104, to reflect the change of direction that you have given me. So I'm recommending that policy change.
Any questions regarding that? Okay. Beth's made a motion, second?
Second.
Can I give it to Janice? Okay.
Doesn't matter. We don't have to fight over it.
That's right. And all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Great, thank you. It's been carried very good. Thank you. And Mr. Slow, you have another report?
Okay. Last year, the state legislature in House Bill 1006 said that beginning with the 07-08 school year, each school board or governing body should establish goals for each category of expenditures that would increase taxpayer resources directly to student instruction. So what that means is this: they have divided up all of our expenditures into 4 different categories. You have one that's called academic achievement, and the expenditures in there would be directly related to teacher salaries, materials, principal salaries, and library or media sources. So that'd be academic achievement. You have a second category called instructional support, which would be guidance, health services, school board expenses, and administrative expense. Third category is overhead and operational, which would be payroll, transportation, food service, and technology. And then the fourth category of expense would be non-operational, which would be typically your debt service. So you're taking all your expenses, dividing up into 4 groups. You have the academic achievement and instructional support. They combine those and call those your instructional expense. So you take that dollar amount spent as a percent of the total expenditures. And they're saying now we should look at our percentages and make goals of trying to increase the expenditures in that academic and student instruction area. Now, I have some numbers from the state. I'm not gonna share all the detail of percentages tonight, but I'll be coming to you at the next meeting with, here's where we're at on our percentages, and here's what we would set as goals for 07, 08. Now, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that. I mean, we don't know. You know, it sounds good and is a good goal. There's a lot of factors involved. I mean, you can't automatically, to increase one expenditure category, you're gonna have to reduce expenditure somewhere else or make other adjustments. Well, if you're a school with growing enrollment, it might be easier to increase your student and academic expenditures because you're hiring more teachers. So naturally, that portion of the 4 buckets would increase. So we have to, Dr. Sager and I are looking at those expenditures, and I'll get some more information to you by next meetings, and we'll adopt a goal. May not be exact percentage, but may say, for example, some schools I know, like I talked to Brock Bowser at Avon, they are growing, but they can't see how they're going to necessarily increase their expenditures because everything's going up the same. So something we got to think about and work on. I just want to kind of give you a little insight to it tonight, so when it comes up next meeting, we'll discuss it more.
Okay, this is something new that the
This
state's
is new,
putting out?
right?
And we don't know if there's gonna be incentives for meeting
No,
those
we don't
goals or
know.
what.
I mean, we heard that earlier on, there's gonna be incentives, if you do increase that by a certain percent, I don't know what the incentive would be, maybe a pat on the back, or I don't know. I mean, I doubt if they give you more money, but it is law that we have to set some kind of goal, so we're working towards that. Of course, the thing is, they come out with this once your budget's already established and you pretty well have your expenditures planned, but we just gotta kind of massage it a little bit and see what we can come up with.
We're kind of used to that though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't anything new.
Well, I think that the essence of this law, or the impetus for this law, was to bring to public light the discrepancy across Indiana of how many what percentage of total dollars are spent on what some bureaucrat, I'll call him, is calling, quote, education. As we look at those categories, we're already very high in the percentage spent on achievement. So I don't think that once these numbers are all calculated that we're going to look good anyway. So I think the intent of it is to give corporations that may not put as high a percent more. They're going to try to incentivize, whatever that word is, to spend more, and I think we're already there, so I don't think it'll have much effect on us.
Any other questions, Mr. Sloat? Thank you for that report.
I'm sure somebody will.
Do we have
Help
any
me.
communications reports or anything this evening? No? Okay. Do we have anybody for public comment tonight?
I have a question. Surprise. When I was going to school, we had one drill in school. It was called fire drill. And I've heard that there are other types of drills in the schools now, like because of terror and different types of things. And I just wondered if that's true here or if it's still just a fire drill in the schools.
What they require, fire drill once a month, one time a semester tornado drill, and the new one they added this year, one time a semester would be some type of, I don't know what to call it. We would call it like a lockdown or some other event in the school that would require maybe a lockdown where, you'd either have a, hostage type situation or you have chemical spill.
Columbine type
Yeah, Columbine
situation.
type, chemical spill,
Emergency
emergency
type
type action. Yeah, so that is additional.
When you have 3 different
Right.
types.
Now, we did this past week, this won't really count, this was kind of related to it. We had like a bus evacuation drill where we call bus drivers, and Karen can tell you about it. And they didn't know they're getting a call and said, hey, we need you over here as soon as you can because we have to evacuate students from South Grove to Horn Park. And the drivers, I thought went pretty well. I mean, they were here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, from the time I think that we got the first call The first bus driver got the first call until we had supposedly all the students evacuated was 38 minutes. We had 12 buses, 12 drivers that responded.
So yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there is more emphasis on that.
Yeah, we really didn't take the kids out.
Yeah.
They watched it for 4 minutes each bus, you know, about what it would take for the kids to get on and all that kind of stuff.
That's reassuring. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Okay. Board comments. So do you have anything?
Only comment I'd like to make is I really appreciate this cooler weather because it's really helped our air conditioning, but then I hear it's supposed to get 90 the rest of the week, so.
So then
It's
costs go
really,
up again,
yeah,
right?
it's really strange. I think we mentioned before, our air conditioning systems, and it's caused more repair dollars because of that. And so hopefully we won't have another extended hot spell, but everybody's been cooperative, and Tim Babbitt's been on top of it, so we, try to keep everybody as comfortable as we can.
Russ, that means we need to put the block on all calls from the middle school again.
Yeah.
So turn it up.
Appreciate that.
Well, my kid said the high school was kind of hot a couple days too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we had unusual, well, I mean, Tim and I met with the air conditioning people last week because I was concerned, and he was too. Why do we have so many repairs? And I mean, the equipment is not really made to operate, when you got rooftop units at 100 degrees with the sun on them. The unit at the high school, we even had a garden hose with a sprinkler on it to help cool it so it could cool better in the building. Of course, that didn't work, but got splattered on somebody's car, and that wasn't a good idea.
Our bus air conditioners didn't
It's
work
always
very well.
something.
No, bus air conditioners,
Poor Bill just can't seem to fix those.
the windows still work though.
As long as the windows work,
Yeah.
we're okay.
Is it that 1640 air conditioner? 16 windows down going
Yeah,
40 mile an hour?
that's
Yeah.
right, that's
Hold on.
right. Great, thank you, Mr. Slow. Rick, do you have anything?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to give a big applause to the band.
Yes.
You got first place Saturday. Congratulations to the band. That's fantastic.
I was there and it was great.
That's awesome. Anybody that has seen their performance, it's very inspiring. A lot of pictures of hometown here, Beech Grove, some of our fighters and stuff. That's pretty neat. So I'm very proud to say that my nephew is in the band, and pretty proudful weekend for us on Saturday. Also, girls booster basketball is in registration mode. Any girls between the grades of 3rd and 8th grade wishing to play, practices will start in October, and you can get a hold of me at 694-9004. That's it.
Free advertising.
Free advertising.
Thank you, Rick. Tim, do you have something?
Yeah, congratulations to the band. They did a great job this weekend. That's all I have.
Tammy?
And I apologize for getting here late, but I was there Saturday and it was fabulous. The competition the previous week got rained out, so we had to move inside. And you can't experience this band inside when they can't march in the props. But Corey Wynn, Scott Bradford, and Adrian Hartsaw did an absolutely fabulous job. And it was wonderful, really was. So congratulations to them. And the 7th and 8th grade football teams at the middle school continue to do well. And they have another home game this Wednesday at the middle, no, it's at the high school, I think. Is it high school, right? Yeah, okay, 5 o'clock. So,
Thank you very
Uh-huh.
much. Beth?
We are back in school mode, believe it or not. What is this, week 6? Is this week 6 already? 5 or 6? 6, I think.
6
Got our
weeks.
midterms.
ISTEP did
Yeah.
start today at Central and, well, all the buildings. We just finished the Big Fall Festival. What a great event. And congratulations to the band. It's nice to hear that the band does get some compliments. They, believe it or not, if you've never been on the field or watched them, you have no idea what they go through. It's as hard as any other extracurricular activity that any of our students might do, and they are doing a wonderful job this year. Some things going on at Hornet Park and Central. We did combine Hornet Park and Central School Community Council. There will be a meeting on October 3rd for the whole entire corporation to get some information on how to determine whether the corporation wants to stay PTA or go some other route. So they're going to give some information on remaining a parent-teacher association with federal dollars being used to lobby and that kind of thing. This Wednesday night is a father-daughter dance here at Hornet Park, which is a big event for the young ladies and their special guests, whether it be dad or aunt or uncle or brother, whoever it might be. If you get a chance, there's some additional things at the playground here at Hornet Park, which has been sorely needed for the number of young children that are here now compared to what we thought were going to be a few years ago. Some new things out there when you get a chance to take a look, and I think that's about it.
Great, thank you, Beth. Do you gentlemen have something, Mr. Wagner, Mr. Collins?
No, I don't have anything this evening.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
You mentioned the I-STEPs could start today.
Could start today.
Let me explain a little bit about the process, so if people would like to know that. It's usually a 2-week, we have usually a 2-week window, but our school district is used as what's called a calibration. They use our results to set the bar for the whole state of Indiana, so that means we have to have our tests in earlier than most school districts do. So I will collect the test on a week from Thursday, so it cuts us a little shorter. Most schools, except for the high school, they usually spend this week giving the test, and then they do makeups for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and sometimes Thursday, because sometimes they'll give me the test Thursday afternoon to make it up. The GQE, which is the graduation qualifying exam, which is given in 10th grade, has to be given on certain days. It's just you can't, and there are no makeups. And as I think all of you realize, you have to pass the GQE to get a diploma. You are given several opportunities, but you still have to pass it. Or there is a waiver process, which we do not use very often. But most of them have to pass this test. So I wanted you to know kind of the events and how it was laid out. The other nice thing, I think it's been 2 or 3 years now, it used to be when we first started, the Fall Festival was the same week as High Step, and they did change the Fall Festival about 2 or 3 years ago, so it was before, not during, which is greatly appreciated.
And the GQE test is tomorrow, is that?
I forget exactly what days they are, but I think it's a 3-day event.
Tomorrow for Thursday.
The problem is that if someone's absent, for this time around, they're out of luck. So it's at least you have a chance to pass it. If you're kind of on the borderline, at least give yourself a chance to pass it. And if you don't, then you can do it. But you should give yourself a chance to pass it. So don't be absent the next 3 days.
Good advice. Jim?
The only thing I've got to report, C9 Academy, for the first time since its inception, is down a little bit. It's not in any jeopardy or anything. It is just down in numbers. Construction down there is everywhere. They're doing an amazing job. If you could see what those kids are going through with the construction, because they've got Visqueen up in classrooms, and they're on this side, and then the guys get done working and they move to the other side. But we're doing real well down there. And dittos and kudos to the band. That's great that they're back in the win again. That's it.
How many students?
Yeah.
How many students do we have at Central Line this year?
No, I can't tell you.
You don't know, I meant the academy.
Yeah, no, I don't. I haven't got the numbers.
Kayla Brown won the golf sectional this past weekend, which is pretty cool. And boys tennis took second in their conference. And the Student Community Council is working on the possibility of creating a credit recovery program for the students who are having problems passing and they fail and they take it again. We're going to try and figure out a way that they could take the course in less than an entire semester, or entire year, and they wouldn't get an A, but they would at least pass the course so they could get the credits for it. So we're investigating how we can do that right now, and we'll be able to bring that to you when we come up with something.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense that if you barely don't pass, that you take the whole course over again.
Right.
We should take you where you are and let you progress so you can get the credit.
So we're trying to investigate that and see what we can figure out so we can help those students get those credits. And the band plays at 5:40 at Greenwood on Saturday. If anybody wants to go see them there, that's all.
Thank you. And you did say that graduation was set for Sunday, June 1st
Yes.
at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So everybody get down their calendar, especially those of us who have seniors, make sure that we have that down. 2 o'clock p.m. on that Sunday, June 1st.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. And I just want to say, well, congratulations to the band also, they sounded terrific in the Fall Festival on Saturday. And also, I wanted to comment that Dr. Sager and all the building principals and Kevin Stevenson, our new AD at the high school, spoke at the Greater Beech Grove Chamber of Commerce luncheon last Thursday and did an excellent job. I mean, I really have to commend all of you because the community was not aware of some things, the way the school operates and the effect of some things, and they did an excellent presentation. Really made me proud that we're part of the school board and have such a great set of administrators. And so they really did an excellent job, and it was a wonderful community meeting and a real time for us to showcase what we do in the school system and how we do it. So congratulations to all of you on a great presentation. And that's all I've got. Do you have anything, Dr.
I was going to
Sager?
mention the same thing.
Okay.
What a great job you did.
No. I wasn't going to say that part.
That's okay.
You're on tonight, aren't you? Just don't,
Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead, Brad.
We have a lot of forms to sign in executive sessions, don't believe it.
Don't leave. Okay. Do I have the most important motion of the evening here?
So moved.
All right, second?
Second.
All